Hey folks, welcome to another AR video. This one is going to add additional functionality to the XREAL Beam. Now this is not something that's endorsed by the folks at XREAL, and as a matter of fact, it could damage the XREAL Beam permanently if you don't know exactly what you're doing. But the XREAL Beam essentially is an Android device, and it allows you to install, if you're in developer settings, the actual Android ecosystem, if you will. APKs, things of that nature will work with this device. But there's a trick to it. So we're going to reset our XREAL Beam, because if we don't, when we try to enter the mode that allows you to get to the developer settings, how you do that is you connect a physical keyboard and mouse to a USB hub that has output similar to the one that I'm using right now to get HDMI out from the XREAL Beam, and you click Windows N or Command N if you're using a Macintosh keyboard, and that'll bring up this familiar to Android users little bar. Now the reason you need the mouse is you need to drag down that window and click on the settings icon. But in the most recent firmware, you can't click on that settings icon. That hub will not pop up. So if you click on the cog for settings, you get nothing. And that's unfortunate, because it's going to lock a lot of people out of the ability to turn on developer options. But if you click on the Reset XREAL Beam button here and continue, we've got the beam resetting itself now. Again, you select your language again. Before I even do that, I'm going to hit Windows N. It's going to pull up that screen again. You'll notice now that it's in Mandarin. If we scroll down, we've got the settings cog. We click on that, and there we go. We've got settings. So from this settings screen now, everything's in Mandarin, and I don't understand Mandarin, so we're going to change that. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, I believe it's this one. Let me click on the little Android application here. Click on the language. We're going to add a language. We're going to scroll down to English. And even for English, look at all those options. I'm in the United States. We'll click on United States here. We've got that now. We're going to enable that as our language, and now everything is in English. So the next step here, if we scroll down to the About Beam here, scroll down to the build number, and click on it until you get to You Are Now a Developer. Exit back one screen, click on System here, Advanced, and now we've got developer options that would not have been there prior to clicking on the build number multiple times to get to this. Click on developer options, and things we need on developer options. We need to make sure that, first of all, developer options are turned on. And then the last option that folks have encouraged is this don't keep activities under apps here. Because there's limited memory in the Beam itself, it's good to kind of destroy the activity of the application and not leave it running in the background. Android supports multitasking. You don't want to do that with this particular device because there's limited memory and limited resource space to do that. So we'll turn off don't keep activities here. And that's going to be it for developer options. Now we're going to turn the Wi-Fi on. So we have Wi-Fi enabled now. And we're going to go to apps and notifications next. And you can see that the most recently opened application was EVA Launcher. EVA Launcher is the only real application that you can launch right now if you don't go in through this method. So we click on all 18 apps. You can see some other things that are loaded by default on the Beam that you don't have access to. The Android keyboard for AOSP is one. A calculator, a calendar, a camera. There's no camera on the Beam device, so this would be useless. A clock, which there is a clock that's embedded into the EVA launcher, so that might actually be pulling from that application. Explorer, which is kind of like a file explorer. Files, a gallery. Lightning, which is the web browser, and that's what we're going to be launching in just a moment. A music application, which is probably how the song is triggered and played in the EVA launcher. A search function, settings, which is what we're in right now, a sound recorder, STC ISP, which I'm not sure what that is, video, which is 0 bytes, so probably nothing, WebView shell, which again is 0 bytes, and a Wi-Fi display, which is probably what's running when you do that wireless display connectivity with your Miracast, AirPlay, or DLNA device. But we're going to be opening up Lightning, which is a web browser. And surprisingly, it automatically opens Google. What we're going to search for is an alternative Android launcher that is used for Android TVs that don't have Google Play services. And it's called Aptoide TV. So we're going to search for that. And we're looking for this tv.aptoide.com. You want to stay away from sponsored links and things of that nature, as they could actually be harmful. And now we're in Aptoide TV here. We want to download that. It is in Mandarin because this device is intended to be in Mandarin, so the browser is also in Mandarin. Click on that Aptoide TV button. That should now allow us to download the most recent APK for Aptoide TV. We'll download that. Then we'll go to Files. And you'll see we've got that Aptoide TV download here. If we click on it, you'll see for security reasons, your tablet is not allowed to install unknown apps from Lightning. So we're going to hit Settings here. We're going to do Allow from Source. Click that arrow. And then click to install it again. Do you want to install this application? We do. So we're going to click Install here. And from here, we're going to click on Open. And congratulations, we have installed a non-supported application currently on your XREAL Beam. As you can see, this is just some features about Aptoide TV. It is now in English because English is our primary setting for the Beam. It's no longer using the Lightning browser. And from here, we're going to look for a launcher to replace the EVA launcher as our main primary launcher. So we're going to click here, and we're going to search for ATV Launcher. An ATV Launcher, this first one here, is the one that we're going to be installing. So we'll click on that. As you can see, install is the first option here. Again, we've got a security setting for Aptoide TV. We want to allow that to install unknown applications. We'll click install on ATV install on ATV Launcher again here. Now I've got that installed. And we're going to hit done here. We're not going to hit install. And we're going to go back to our keyboard, click Windows N again to pull this down. Click on our settings cog one more time, and we're going to go to apps and notifications. And when we do that, we're going to scroll down to default apps. And in default apps, we're going to go to home app. And you see there's two options now. Typically on your Beam device, you're only going to have EVA Launcher. We want to select ATV Launcher as our default. Now that's loaded us into the ATV Launcher. As you can see, these are all of the applications that are currently installed. They're the same applications that we had earlier when we scrolled through the different applications, except now you've got Aptoide TV and ATV Launcher installed alongside the other applications. So now we're going to reboot our Beam. So as you can see, it automatically loads up with the ATV Launcher at this point. Now I've turned off the keyboard, and we're going to look for an alternative Android keyboard. And as you can see, I'm typing using the mouse. And we're going to click on Keyboard for Android TV here. Click on Install. Again, we've already given Aptoide TV the ability to install. Click on Install again. Done. Clicking this keyboard button, you see our input method is currently Android keyboard. You've also got EVA Launcher as an option. We're going to go into System, Languages and Input, Manage on-screen keyboards. We're going to go ahead and click on OK. If you restart your phone and have a screen lock set, the app can't start until you unlock your phone. Hit OK. So we've got the Android TV keyboard here. And now we'll reboot the Beam one last time here, out of settings. We'll open up the EVA Launcher. And now we'll go through the actual settings to set up our XREAL Beam. We've got the privacy policy and software license and service agreement. Now we're connecting to Wi-Fi again. We're already connected, so it's going to skip past that. And here's our intro screens here. And what you'll notice when we're finished is we've actually got all of those other icons for all of the other applications that we've installed. We can't really switch back and forth though from this screen. What we need to do is click the back button. You hold that down and that'll take us back to the Aptoide TV and ATV Launcher. So that gives you a bit more use cases with the XREAL Beam than just the standard software.